Welcome back to Easy English Talk Podcast.
You know what's strange? Babies learn language perfectly without classes, tests, or textbooks. They just listen, play, and suddenly they're speaking. So why do adults struggle so much when we have better memory and focus? Hello and welcome to Easy English Talk Podcast. I'm Ryan, and today we're discussing how to learn English like a baby. Because maybe, just maybe, babies know something we forgot.
Hi everyone, I'm Priya, and Ryan, that's such a good question. Adults spend years studying English with grammar books and vocabulary lists. But babies, they don't study, they just absorb.
Exactly, and here's what we're going to explore today. We'll talk about why adult learning often feels hard and frustrating. Then we'll break down how babies actually learn and how you can use those same methods.
Because if you understand how babies do it, you can skip a lot of pain. You can stop forcing yourself to memorize rules that don't stick, and you can start learning in a way that actually feels natural.
So let's start with the problem. Why is learning English so hard for adults? Most people feel stuck. They study for months, even years, but when they try to speak, the words don't come out smoothly.
Right. And I think the biggest reason is how we were taught. Most English courses focus on grammar rules first, vocabulary lists second. You memorize conjugations, exceptions, tenses. It's like learning to swim by reading a manual.
That's a perfect comparison. Imagine trying to swim by just reading about it. You might know the theory, but the moment you jump in the water, you panic. English is the same. Knowing rules doesn't mean you can use them naturally.
And there's another problem. Most learners don't get enough input. They study 1 hour a week in class, do some exercises, and that's it. Babies, on the other hand, hear language all day, every day for years.
Exactly. Babies are surrounded by English from morning to night. They hear their parents talk, they hear songs, conversations, everything. Adults try to learn with maybe 5 hours a week. It's just not enough.
Plus, babies don't worry about making mistakes. They babble nonsense. They say things wrong, and nobody corrects them harshly. But adults, we're terrified of being judged or sounding stupid.
That fear is huge. It stops people from practicing. They wait until they feel ready to speak, which might never happen. Babies don't wait. They just try, fail, try again, and improve naturally.
So if we sum up the problem, adults learn the wrong way. We focus too much on rules, we don't listen enough, and we're afraid to make mistakes. Babies do the opposite. They listen a lot, they experiment freely, and they don't stress.
Now, let's talk about how babies actually learn. What's their secret? First, they start with listening, just pure, massive listening. For the first year of life, babies barely speak, they just absorb sounds.
Yes, and this is called the silent period. It's crucial. Babies listen to thousands of hours of conversation before they say their first word. They're building a sound database in their brain, learning rhythm, tone, patterns.
And during this time, they're not translating anything. They don't think, oh, that means this in my language. They just connect sounds directly to meaning through context.
Right. When a parent says milk while holding a bottle, the baby connects the sound to the object. No translation needed, no grammar explanation, just direct association between sound and reality.
So the first lesson from babies is simple. Listen a lot before you speak. Don't rush into speaking if you haven't filled your brain with enough English. Give yourself permission to just listen and absorb for a while.
And not just any listening, it has to be meaningful. Babies listen to real conversations about real things happening around them. They're not listening to random words. Everything has context and emotion.
Exactly. So if you want to learn like a baby, listen to English that interests you. Not boring textbook dialogues, real conversations, stories, podcasts, shows, things that make you curious, that make you feel something.
Because when you're emotionally engaged, your brain pays attention. And when your brain pays attention, it learns faster and remembers better. Babies learn mama and milk quickly because those words matter to them.
The second big thing babies do is learn through repetition, lots of repetition. They hear the same words and phrases over and over in different situations, and slowly the meaning becomes clear without anyone explaining it.
Yes, and this is natural repetition, not forced memorization. A baby hears good morning every single day when they wake up. After 100 mornings, they just know what it means. No flashcards needed.
So, for adult learners, this means you should re-watch shows, re-listen to podcasts. Go back to content you've already heard. Don't always chase something new. Repetition builds familiarity, and familiarity builds fluency.
And here's something interesting. Babies learn whole phrases, not individual words. They don't learn want, to, and go separately. They learn I want to go as one chunk of sound.
Right. This is called chunking. It's way more efficient. When you learn phrases as units, you speak faster and more naturally. You don't have to build sentences word by word in your head.
Exactly. So instead of memorizing individual vocabulary, focus on common phrases. Learn how are you doing as one piece. Learn I'm not sure as one piece. Your brain will thank you.
Now, the third thing babies do is they play with language. They experiment. They try mixing sounds, making up words, testing combinations. And they do it without fear because nobody is grading them.
Yes, and this playful attitude is so important. Babies don't think, am I using the past perfect correctly? They just try to communicate, and they adjust based on feedback.
So, as an adult learner, you need to give yourself that same freedom. Stop worrying about perfection. Just try to express your ideas. If you make a mistake, great. That's how you learn what works and what doesn't.
And mistakes are actually proof that you're learning. If you never make mistakes, it means you're only saying things you already know. You're not growing. You're staying in your comfort zone.
Babies also learn through interaction, not isolation. They don't sit alone with a grammar book. They talk with people. Even when they can barely speak, they try to communicate, and people respond.
Right. And this back and forth is essential. When a baby says, wah-wah, and points, the parent says, water? You want water? The baby learns the correct word through real, meaningful interaction.
So, if you're learning English, you need conversation practice. It doesn't have to be perfect. Even simple exchanges help. Talk to yourself. Talk to language partners online. Talk to anyone willing to listen.
And don't just speak. Listen to their responses. Notice how native speakers say things. Notice the words they choose. Then try using those same patterns in your own speech.
Now, let's talk about immersion. Babies live inside the language. English isn't something they do for an hour. It's everywhere, all the time. And that constant exposure makes all the difference.
For adults, full immersion might not be possible. You might not live in an English-speaking country, but you can create immersion at home. Surround yourself with English. Change your phone language, watch shows in English, think in English when you can.
Exactly. The goal is to make English a part of your daily life, not a separate task. If you only study English during study time, your brain treats it as work. But if English is always around you, your brain starts treating it as normal.
And here's a mistake many learners make. They think immersion means understanding everything. But babies don't understand everything they hear, not even close. They just keep listening, and understanding grows slowly over time.
Right. So don't stress if you don't understand every word. Just keep exposing yourself to English. Your brain will start picking up patterns. Understanding comes from exposure, not from forcing yourself to translate every word.
Another baby strategy is learning from context, not definitions. When a baby hears hot, they might touch something hot and pull back. They learn the meaning through experience, not through a dictionary.
So, when you encounter a new word, try to guess the meaning from context first. Don't immediately grab a dictionary. Read the sentence again. Watch the scene again. Train your brain to figure things out, just like a baby does.
And if you guess wrong, that's okay. You'll correct yourself later when you see the word again. This process of guessing, adjusting, and confirming is how deep learning happens. It's slower than looking up every word, but it sticks better.
Now, let's talk about focus. What do babies focus on when they learn? They don't focus on grammar rules or spelling. They focus on meaning and communication. Their only goal is to connect with people and express their needs.
Exactly, and that should be your goal too. Don't study English to pass a test or to sound smart. Study English to communicate, to connect, to share ideas.
When your focus is on communication, learning becomes easier. You stop stressing about small mistakes because the message matters more than the form. And ironically, when you stop stressing, your English improves faster.
And babies also learn from emotions. They remember words connected to strong feelings. If something exciting happens, they remember the words that were said. If something scary happens, those words stick too.
So use emotion in your learning. Watch shows that make you laugh or cry. Listen to songs that move you. Read stories that excite you. When emotions are involved, your memory works better.
And avoid boring, lifeless content. If you're not interested, your brain won't absorb it. You can't force yourself to care about something dull. Choose content that genuinely matters to you.
Let's talk about pronunciation. Babies learn perfect pronunciation naturally. They copy the sounds they hear around them without thinking about it. Adults, on the other hand, often struggle with accent and pronunciation.
That's because adults try to pronounce words correctly using rules. But babies don't follow rules. They just mimic sounds over and over. They hear water 1,000 times, and eventually their mouth figures it out.
So, if you want better pronunciation, stop reading about how to pronounce things. Instead, listen to native speakers and repeat what you hear. Shadow their speech, copy their rhythm, their tone, their melody.
And don't worry if you sound silly at first. Babies sound silly too. They mispronounce everything in the beginning, but they keep trying. And over time, their mouth muscles learn the right movements.
Exactly. Pronunciation is physical. It's muscle memory. You can't think your way into better pronunciation. You have to practice it physically. Listen and repeat until it feels natural.
Now, let's talk about grammar. This is where adults often get stuck. We think we need to master grammar rules before we can speak, but babies learn grammar without ever studying it.
Right. Babies don't know what a verb is. They don't know tenses or conditionals. Yet, they start speaking grammatically correct sentences after a few years. How? Through pattern recognition.
Exactly. They hear "I am going" many times, and their brain notices the pattern. They hear "she is going" and "they are going," and the pattern becomes clear. They don't need a rule. The pattern just sinks in naturally.
So for adult learners, you can learn grammar the same way. Instead of memorizing rules, expose yourself to correct sentences. Read a lot, listen a lot. Your brain will pick up the patterns automatically.
Of course, some grammar study can help, especially if you want to learn faster, but it should come after exposure, not before. First, get familiar with how English sounds and feels, then study the rules if you want.
And when you do study grammar, don't just read about it. Use it. Make your own sentences. Speak them out loud. Grammar is useless if it stays in your head. It has to become part of your speech.
Let's also talk about patience. Babies take years to become fluent. They don't expect to speak perfectly in 6 months. But adults often get frustrated if they're not fluent quickly.
Right. We forget that language learning is a slow process. Babies hear thousands of hours of English before they can hold a simple conversation. Adults need to put in serious time too. There's no shortcut.
So be patient with yourself. Celebrate small progress. Maybe this month you understood a podcast episode without subtitles. That's huge. That's progress. Don't ignore it just because you're not fluent yet.
And remember, babies don't compare themselves to others. They don't think, that baby speaks better than me. They just focus on their own growth at their own pace.
Exactly. Stop comparing yourself to other learners. Everyone's journey is different. Some people learn faster, some slower. What matters is that you're moving forward, even if it's just a little bit each day.
Now, let's talk about mistakes again, because this is so important. Babies make mistakes constantly. They say, I goed instead of I went. And nobody punishes them. People just gently correct and move on.
Right. And because there's no punishment, babies aren't afraid to keep trying. They don't develop anxiety around speaking. But adults, we've been trained to fear mistakes through years of school tests.
So you have to retrain your brain. Mistakes are not failures. Mistakes are data. They show you what you need to work on. Without mistakes, there's no improvement.
And here's a mindset shift that helps. Think of yourself as a scientist. Scientists run experiments. Some work, some don't. When something doesn't work, they learn and try again. No shame, no stress.
I love that. Be a scientist with your English. Try new words, new phrases, new sentence structures. If it doesn't work, great, now you know. Adjust and try again.
Another thing babies do is they use gestures and context to communicate. When they don't know a word, they point, they act it out. They don't give up just because they lack vocabulary.
So as an adult learner, don't be afraid to use gestures, explanations, or simpler words. If you don't know how to say something, describe it. Communication is the goal, not perfection.
Exactly. Native speakers do this too. If they forget a word, they say, "You know, that thing you use to open bottles." They don't freeze. They find another way to express the idea.
Now let's talk about active versus passive learning. Babies are active learners. They don't just sit and absorb. They interact, they respond, they try to use what they hear.
Right. So passive learning, like just watching videos without doing anything, isn't enough. You need to engage. Repeat sentences out loud. Answer questions, even if nobody's asking. Talk back to the video. Make the learning active.
Exactly. If you're watching a show, pause and repeat interesting phrases. If you're listening to a podcast, try summarizing what you heard out loud. This active engagement makes the learning stick.
And here's another baby trick. They learn through routines. The same phrases get repeated in the same situations every day. Time for bed. Let's eat. Say goodbye. This repetition builds strong connections.
So, create routines in your English learning. Maybe you listen to a podcast every morning. Maybe you review phrases before bed. Routines help your brain expect English at certain times, which strengthens the habit.
And routines don't have to be boring. You can have a routine of watching a fun show, or a routine of chatting with a language partner. The key is consistency, not rigidity.
Let's talk about input quality. Babies hear clear, simple language at first. Parents naturally simplify their speech when talking to babies. They speak slower, use shorter sentences, repeat more.
This is called caretaker speech, or motherese, and it's perfect for learning because it's easy to follow. So as a learner, start with content designed for learners or children.
Don't jump straight into complex news or academic lectures. Start with simple podcasts, easy shows, children's books. Build your foundation first, then gradually increase difficulty.
And there's no shame in using easier content. Even simple content teaches you useful, everyday English. You don't need fancy vocabulary to have real conversations.
Right. Most daily conversations use simple English. How are you? What did you do today? That sounds fun. Master the basics first. Fancy words can come later.
Now let's talk about something babies do really well: learning without pressure. Nobody forces a baby to speak. Nobody gives them deadlines. They learn because it's natural and necessary, not because it's required.
So remove pressure from your learning. Don't set unrealistic goals like fluent in 3 months. Just commit to regular exposure and practice. Trust that progress will come naturally with time.
And if you miss a day or a week, that's okay. Life happens. Don't quit just because you're not perfect. Babies don't give up learning just because they had a quiet day.
Exactly. Learning is a marathon, not a sprint. Consistency over time beats intense bursts of effort followed by burnout. Even 15 minutes a day, every day, adds up to massive progress over a year.
Let's also talk about curiosity. Babies are naturally curious. They want to know what things are called. They want to understand the world. This curiosity drives their learning.
So, stay curious about English. Ask questions. Why is this phrase used this way? How do native speakers say this? Curiosity makes learning feel like exploration, not work.
And when something confuses you, see it as interesting, not frustrating. English has weird rules and exceptions. That's part of the fun. Embrace the weirdness instead of fighting it.
Now, here's something practical. Babies get immediate feedback. They say something, and people respond right away. This real-time feedback helps them adjust quickly.
For adult learners, you can create feedback loops too. Talk to yourself and record it. Listen back and notice what sounds off. Or use language exchange apps where real people respond to you.
And pay attention to how people react when you speak. Do they understand you? Do they ask you to repeat? Their reactions give you clues about what's working and what's not.
Another thing babies do is they focus on high-frequency words first. They don't learn rare vocabulary. They learn the words they hear most. Mom, dad, yes, no, more, go.
So as a learner, Focus on the most common words and phrases first. Learn the top 1,000 words in English and you'll understand most conversations. Don't waste time on rare words you'll never use.
And learn those common words deeply. Know how to use them in different situations. A word like get has dozens of meanings. Master the common ones through context and usage.
Let's talk about environment. Babies learn best in a safe, supportive environment. They're surrounded by people who encourage them and celebrate their progress. They're not mocked or criticized for mistakes.
So create a supportive environment for yourself. Join communities of learners who encourage each other. Avoid people who criticize your accent or mock your mistakes.
And be your own cheerleader. Celebrate small wins. You learned a new phrase? Awesome. You understood a full conversation? Amazing. Positive reinforcement keeps you motivated.
Because motivation is fuel. When you feel good about your progress, you keep going. When you only focus on what you can't do yet, you burn out. Babies naturally celebrate every small achievement. You should too.
Now here's a big one. Babies don't translate in their heads. They think directly in the language they're learning. When they hear dog, they picture a dog, not the word in another language.
So try to think in English as much as possible. When you see a cup, think cup, not the word in your native language first. This direct connection makes your English faster and more natural.
And when you're practicing speaking, resist the urge to translate. If you think in your language and then translate, your speech will be slow and awkward. Instead, think of the idea and try to express it directly in English.
This takes time, but it's worth it. Start small. Think simple sentences in English throughout your day. I'm hungry. It's cold. I need to go. Just practice thinking in English.
All right, let's talk about one more thing. Babies use all their senses to learn. They see, hear, touch, taste, and connect language to physical experiences. This multi-sensory learning makes everything stick better.
So engage more than just your ears when learning English. Watch videos so you see and hear. Act out phrases physically. Write new words by hand. The more senses you use, the stronger the memory.
And connect language to real experiences. If you learn the word coffee, actually drink coffee. If you learn walk, go for a walk and think in English while doing it. Experience plus language equals deep learning.
Exactly. Babies don't learn abstract words well until they have experiences to connect them to. So make your learning experiential, not just theoretical. Live in English, don't just study it.
So let's bring this all together. What have we learned? Babies succeed because they listen a lot, they don't fear mistakes, and they learn through real interaction. They focus on communication, not perfection. They're patient, curious, and persistent.
And you can do the same. Surround yourself with English every day. Listen more than you speak at first. Let yourself make mistakes without judgment. Focus on meaning and connection, not rules and tests.
Use repetition. Learn phrases, not just words. Think in English, not through translation. Be active, not passive. Engage with the language. Talk, respond, play. And most importantly, be patient with yourself.
Because learning a language is natural. Your brain is built for it. You just have to give it the right conditions: time, exposure, practice, and a positive mindset. Trust the process, just like babies do.
And remember, babies don't become fluent overnight. It takes years, but every single day they get better. Every conversation teaches them something. You're doing the same thing. Progress might feel slow, but it's happening.
So don't quit. Don't get discouraged when you don't understand something. Don't stress when you make mistakes. That's all part of the journey. Just keep showing up, keep listening, keep trying.
Exactly. Learning English like a baby means learning with joy, curiosity, and patience. It means focusing on connection, not perfection. And it means trusting that your brain will figure it out if you give it enough time and input.
So start today. Listen to something in English. Repeat a phrase out loud. Watch a show without subtitles, even if you don't understand everything. Just expose yourself. Let your brain do what it does naturally.
And before we go, let's recap quickly. Listen a lot. Don't fear mistakes. Learn phrases, not isolated words. Engage actively with the language. Be patient and celebrate small progress.
Use emotion and interest to fuel your learning. Think in English when you can. Create routines. Surround yourself with supportive people. And most of all, enjoy the process.
Because language learning should feel exciting, not exhausting. If babies can do it while also learning to walk and eat solid food, you can do it too. You have focus, motivation, and intention. Use those advantages.
And don't forget, every fluent English speaker started exactly where you are now. They didn't know anything. They made tons of mistakes, but they kept going. And eventually, English became natural for them.
You're on that same path. Every minute you spend with English brings you closer. Every word you hear, every sentence you speak, it all adds up. Trust yourself. You're learning even when it doesn't feel like it.
So that's our discussion today. We hope this gave you a fresh perspective. Learning like a baby isn't about being childish. It's about being natural. It's about working with your brain, not against it.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Easy English Talk Podcast. We really appreciate you spending this time with us. If this was helpful, we'd love for you to check out our other episodes.
We cover all kinds of topics designed to help you improve your English in a natural, enjoyable way. From practical speaking tips to everyday conversations and common mistakes to avoid, there's something for everyone, no matter where you are in your learning journey.
So go explore the channel. Find a topic that interests you and keep listening, keep learning, and keep growing. We'll see you in the next episode. Take care, everyone.
Take care, and remember, you're doing great. Just keep going.